Social Broadcasting. I'm Nikita and we're here with Jane. We're going to be here asking a few questions.
Hi.
Alright, first question. What's your musical background? What sort of style of music are you into?
My musical background started off very much like you kids, I imagine. I started off playing piano when I was 10, learning piano and playing that right through. Loving music, obviously, listening to music. And then when I got married, I married a guy who played in a band from the time he was 16. Then he still plays in 2-3 bands. So we have a lot of music in the house. We have a sound studio set up in the lounge. So music is very prevalent in our lives.
It's very interesting. What events have you coordinated?
Other events I'm involved with, apart from the Harbour Street Jazz, I'm very involved in the farmers market, and we have buskers at the farmers market all the time, which is brilliant. I'm also in the Oamaru Whitestone Civic Trust, which is involved in the old Harbour Street. I've also been involved in organising fundraisers like the Great Gatsby and the Masquerade Ball, and recently the Beer Festival, the Cheers for Beers. So, and this year we'll be doing some more fundraisers in the way of a fashion parade at Whitestone City for fundraising for next year's Harbour Street Jazz Festival.
So you've been involved with a lot of events then. What's your favourite type of artist or band?
I have lots and lots of very favourite artists and bands. Petula Clark, Sandy Shaw, a lot from the 60s and 70s, Elvis of course. But then I like the country ballads and things like that. I like a lot of different types of music. Classical, even Andrew Lloyd Webber is one of my favourites. So I have a pretty wide range of music that I really enjoy.
Very interesting. So what's your history of the Harbour Street Jazz and Blues Festival, like your role and who else is in the community and what each person does and brings to the table? Well,
I'm the chair, so I basically try and run the meetings and things like that, and support for the coordinator, who's Paula, who does most of the really, really hard stuff, like getting grants and funding for the Harbour Street Jazz Festival. So I like to support and make sure that her job is a little easier. We also have other members. Lucianne is very involved. She's very good at the meetings and is able to give a lot of information to us. Jay Bedford, of course, has the music background and is able to contribute a lot to the Harbour Street Jazz. He also runs the talent quests for the kids. We have Sally Hope and Julie, who are both involved. Julie was heavily involved at the very beginning. It was kind of her idea to bring it back after 8 years. And Sally is very involved in licensing and road closures and things like that. So everybody in the committee works really well together, and they all have their own things that they excel in. Dan Lewis is very involved in media. He works on the radio, so he's able to do a lot of our advertising and things like that.
Alright, that's all we have time for today, folks. Thank you for Jane for coming out here. Thank you, good night.
Hello and welcome back to Social Broadcasting. I am here with a very special guest, Jane. Jane is an events coordinator for the Harbour Street Jazz Festival. Is it? Okay. And we're here to ask her a few questions. What is your background?
My background in music?
Yes.
Probably very similar to a lot of young people. I had piano lessons as a child and dance lessons and everything like that, and continued on loving music as I got older with all the different types of music that we had growing up. And then I married Tony, who'd been in the band since he was 16, so from then music was pretty prevalent in our house with band practices and things like that. So yeah.
Thank you, Jane. Now, how long have you been learning music or like interested in music?
Well, I've been learning music since I was probably 10 when I was going to piano lessons, but learning all the time, just continuing on the piano and learning to sing now, which is really fun.
Who are your favourite artists?
My artists? I have lots of favourite artists going right back to Petula Clark, a lot of the 70s, the 60s, you won't have heard of them. I probably have too many to name, actually. In fact, I should have been prepared for that one.
Can you tell us anything about the history of the Harbour Street Jazz and Blues Festival?
Harbour Street Jazz and Blues Festival, I believe, has been going for about seven or 8 years now, and it's been I think there was a Jazz and Blues Festival 20 odd years ago, but it's been redone for this last 8 years. And this is going to be the big year where we actually acknowledge a lot of the people who have done work in the past. We've got a fabulous committee that work very well, and of course Jay Bedford is involved in the committee, so works very hard as well, and it's a great group to be part of.
What is your role in the committee of the Harbour Street Jazz and Blues?
My role in the Harbour Street Jazz and Blues Festival is that I'm chair of the committee. What that actually involves is chairing the meetings and also sort of just being support and backup for the coordinator, who is Paula is our coordinator, and she's done a brilliant job this year, so I'm quite happy to support her and back her up and do any jobs that she needs me to do. So that's kind of my role.
Who else is on this committee, and what does each person bring to the table?
Well, of course we have a lovely lady called Lucienne, who is fabulous, very organised, and she often runs the meetings very efficiently, and also always gives us such a lot of information, which is fabulous. Jay Bedford, of course, is involved, and he has the music background and often runs and is in charge of the talent quests and things like that for the kids to come along and do their thing at the talent quest. Paula is our coordinator, so she's taken over from Julie this year, and she does a lot of the grants and the hard work that is involved in getting the money to run the festival, because of course it's all free. Sally Hope is involved, so she often does a lot of the licensing and things like that for road closures and that sort of thing. And Heather Berger is of course our sponsor, so she's very important because she's actually put money into the festival so that it can run. Dan Lewis is in it, and he's a recent member of the committee, and he's in it, and he's very good at the media and the advertising and that sort of thing, so he is able to speak on the radio and do interviews and things like that, which is awesome.
Well, thank you, Jane, for coming on our show. We will see you next week on Social Broadcasting. Goodbye and good night.